If you're thinking about starting your own paralegal business, I'm going to save you time, stress, and money by sharing with you what I wish I knew before I started my own paralegal business. When I was thinking about starting a paralegal business, I thought it had everything to do with how good of a paralegal I was or wasn't. Turns out there's so many more components to starting and scaling a successful business, so let's break them apart. Before we jump into my 3 biggest lessons that I learned over the 5 years of running a paralegal business, I want to debunk a common myth. And that myth is if you're a great paralegal, you'll automatically have business and you'll succeed. This myth is what keeps most paralegals stuck in not starting their businesses because they think like, I'm not a good enough paralegal to get the clients that she got. Spoiler alert, when I started my business, I had 5 years of scattered, unfocused paralegal experience. And I went on to scale my business to 6 figures in the first year and $500,000 by its 3rd year. So that alone should tell you that the loose statement of stating the only way to have a successful paralegal business is to be an amazing multi-senior level paralegal. Let's jump into the 3 lessons I learned that I want to share with you today. Spoiler alert, lesson number 3 is all about how to attract clients to your business. Lesson number 1, your rates will make or break you. When I started my business, I was terrified to set my rates. I had no idea if I should be charging the $15 an hour that I can make up the street in my local little town, or if I should be charging $50 like the virtual assistant company that I came across. I got really safe, and initially I only charged $30 an hour for legal assistant services and $40 an hour for paralegal services. Essentially, I undercharged myself in the beginning because I thought that if I could get an attorney, by the grace of God, on my discovery call and sit there and pitch my services and talk about what I could do for them, and then when I said my rate, they would run screaming. What I learned over the last 5 years of working in the paralegal entrepreneurship space is that attorneys are not going to be shocked when you throw $60 at them, $70 at them per hour. Why? Because when we're pricing a business, we're pricing based on value, not on employee market. But as I went on with my $50 per hour rate, and this was back in 2020, so the market's gone up since then, no client really scoffed at that price. Start by doing your research, understanding that baseline expectation of a virtual paralegal, anything more than 3 years of experience doing true paralegal work, is going to be in that $60 per hour range. And it goes up into the 200s depending on your years of experience, your specialty, the practice area, all the above. And I have more videos on how to help you figure out what your price point is, so go check them out in my channel. Okay, lesson number 2 is not every client is a good client. I know how very hard it can be when you're just starting your business out, or even as you go on in business and your sights are set on scaling and every new client is a milestone and you get excited. I know how hard it can be to even consider turning away or firing a client as you get going in your engagement. But here's the reality that you have to both hear as well as own for yourself. The wrong client for your business is going to, number 1, drain you. A lot of them are going to pay late. They won't respect your boundaries. And further, the wrong client that might be a really, really nice person and great to work with, but isn't actually receiving the value, it just ultimately damages the business's purpose and mission. So it's so incredibly important to make sure that before you start your business, one of the first things you will do is identify who your ideal client is. Now, not every client is going to fit into your perfect little box of ideal, but as you really get close to who the attorney is that you are trying to reach, who you are marketing to, and who your business was designed to support, the more you're going to attract different types of attorneys from different walks of life that also kind of fit into that narrative of the value that you provide. Your marketing is going to get clearer. You're going to know exactly what to price and how to charge, how to do your billing structure. Please, I'm glad this is boring you. Where was I? And ultimately, you're going to get more confident in running your business because you know who you're speaking to always, and you know with full certainty the value you provide. I made so many mistakes over the years of saying yes to clients, pushing bills back, allowing them to pay 3 months late, putting me in a cash flow bind of making sure my subcontractors were paid, and all of those things that come with money when we talk money of business. I got on discovery calls calls with attorneys that made me feel ick after I got off. You could tell they didn't respect my knowledge. They did not look at me as somebody that could consult them on their law firm growth, that I was basically just like a vendor that filled an order. And some of those moments really made me question if I wanted to continue doing my business. So I know in the beginning you're going to ignore this advice. I know it. You're going to say yes to every attorney that comes through. But as you gain more confidence in your business, and even before you gain confidence in your business, know who your ideal client actually is, all of your stuff, for lack of better terms, around that client, and ultimately get yourself to a mutual screening process with them. Finally, lesson number 3, and probably the most important one you will hear ever in your business journey. You have to think like a business owner, not just a paralegal. I understand ultimately we are paralegals that are going in to do paralegal work for our law firms, especially in the beginning when we're starting out solo. We haven't brought anybody else in. We haven't stepped into that true business owner, CEO role yet, but you really have to separate yourself from the legal work that you do and look at your business as something you are growing and developing. So here are 3 things that you need to really start thinking about immediately when you go down the path of starting your own paralegal business. 1, marketing, 2, networking, and 3, financial management. Let's talk about marketing really quick. I can't tell you how many times a paralegal has reached out to me and says, Jaclyn, I started freelancing. I follow your YouTube channel. I put on my header on LinkedIn that I'm freelancing and I'm just not getting any traction. No clients are coming. This is not a build it and they will come process. You can't just post on LinkedIn one time letting people know that you're freelancing and hope to attract enough clients to keep you busy within the first month. You need to be posting consistent, authoritative content onto LinkedIn, targeting your back up one step ideal client, who exactly you're trying to reach. You need to be bold enough to reach out to attorneys on LinkedIn directly and let them know, hey, humbly, I'm freelancing. I just wanted to let you know, I noted you're a personal injury paralegal in Texas. I am starting to freelance, wondering if you had a need or if you know anybody that has a need. I'd really appreciate you helping my new and growing business. It's humble. It's not super salesy. It's genuine. You're looking for clients. We've all been there, including them. And this goes hand in hand with networking. We're in the online space. You're running a virtual paralegal business. Networking isn't going to look the same as it did in your hometown. But you need to build your network truly by making sure you're filling it with potentially your ideal clients. Making sure that you have really identified first who your ideal client is. Getting into LinkedIn, filter searching for people that kind of fit that broad demographic of practice area, state, size of law firm, and just start connecting with them. Tell LinkedIn who they should be putting your posts in front of. And then finally, financial planning. In the very first phase of my freelance paralegal roadmap course, I have my paralegals decide what their business model is going to look like. This might include being a solo freelance paralegal forever. This might include building a paralegal team, or it might include going into an agency where you're matching paralegals with attorneys. Now, in all 3 of these scenarios, you need to plan for growth. And I'll be completely honest and transparent here. That is something I did not do early on in my business. I didn't really think through setting money aside for future growth needs. Sometimes you need a little extra cash to get to that next level. When I started bringing paralegals in to work with my attorneys and we were trying to transition into a team model, if you will, I wasn't setting enough money aside to factor in my subcontractors' increase of time and what that was going to cost me. And while I maybe was never late on a paralegal's pay, sometimes it made me have to stall in taking money out for my own bills and myself. So it doesn't have to be huge in the beginning. Just start getting in the habit of having a working capital account for your business that you can pull in and tap into when you want to start broadening and exploring growth. So if you're just starting out, take these 3 lessons to heart. I promise you it will save you money, time, and stress. If this helped and you want me to start exploring on some other burning questions you might have in starting a freelance paralegal business, throw your questions in the comments. I would love to make you a video based on your question. If you have already started your freelance paralegal business or you're considering starting one, I highly encourage you check out my free course that can be found through the description below. And when you get to my website, don't forget to check out my book, Paralegals Should Be Millionaires.